Today, you'll learn to play Critter Combat, a game by Robert Avona and published by Rare Mind Games. Critter Combat is a 2 to 4 player game where you assume the role of an adorable army of animals trying to win trees from other critter armies. For this example, we will be playing a 2-player game. Setup is very easy. You'll determine who the starting player is. Once that's determined, play moves clockwise to your right. Next, you need to select your army. The first player selects their army first. There are 4 armies to choose from. Each has their own collection of 26 cards. Each army is different, and each army has their own unique abilities. The armies include the Backyard Brawlers in yellow, the Pond Punishers in blue, the Field Agents in red, and the Woodland Warriors in green. For this example, we will only be using the Backyard Brawlers and the Pond Punishers for our 2-player game. Once you choose your deck, you will shuffle the cards and cut them. You will draw 5 cards as your starting hand. Put your remaining cards off to the side as your draw pile. Next, you will shuffle your Habitat deck. Habitats are easily distinguished because of the habitats on the back of the card. You will shuffle these cards and place 2 in the center of the play area where all players can reach them, and place the rest of the deck face down where all players can reach it. Before we move on, I'd just like to point out that in every game that you play of Critter Combat, whether it's a 2-player, 3-player, or 4-player game, it is always just 2 habitat cards. Let's talk about the cards. This is a habitat card. Habitat card is broken up into 2 points. First, you have your habitat points, here and here. This is the point total you'll need to capture this card. You'll be using soldier cards to occupy them. These are your tree points. You'll need 12 of these to win the game. These are soldier cards. Soldier cards are what you use to capture the habitats. This number right here are critter points. These are the coolest points in the game. You use these to occupy and capture habitat cards so you can win the tree points. They're also used for battling other players, but we'll talk about that later. Just above it is the soldier type. There are 5 soldier types in this game. You have infantry, spy, medic, heavy, and officers. This is the name of the critter, just in case you wanted to know. Right here, you'll find the ability the creature can use. Just below it, it'll tell you whether or not it is a temporary, permanent, or battle ability. And just below that, it explains what the ability does. Down in the lower right-hand corner, you'll find your critter's army, because it belongs to an army. That's about it. Now that we've seen the cards and set up for gameplay, let's talk about how a turn works. Each player's turn consists of 4 steps. First step is to draw a card. At the start of your turn, you will draw 1 card from your soldier deck and place it into your hand. If you have no more cards to draw, shuffle your discard pile, have another player cut the deck, and then draw your card. Step 2. Play a soldier card from your hand. Here, you're going to play a soldier card from your hand. There are 3 things you can do with your soldier cards. These are called actions. You can choose only one of these actions unless the ability on the card states otherwise. Here are those actions. You can play an ability, play a card to use your critter's unique ability. You can play to occupy. You play a card's critter points on a habitat card. Or you battle. You play a card's critter points to battle against another player. Let's talk about those. Playing a card's ability. You play a soldier's ability exactly as it's described on the card. Abilities are either permanent, temporary, or for battle. If the card has a permanent ability, the card usually stays in play and is left in the play area. If it's a temporary ability, the card is usually discarded after use. Battle abilities are played in battle, and the card must be played as a reinforcement card, but we'll talk more about that later. For example, if I were to play Mittens the kitten for her ability, I would be playing Too Cute. This allows me to draw 3 cards, then discard this card. So I will discard Mittens and take 3 cards into my hand. Along with the abilities on the cards, and each of them is unique, there is one global ability that's available to all infantry cards. You'll know it's an infantry card right above the number. It'll tell you. At any time during your turn, instead of playing an ability off the card, you may play the global ability to discard an infantry card and draw 2 more cards. Now, let's talk about the occupy action. Remember when we discussed critter points? Well, this is how you use them. Place your card face up on a habitat card. Your critter is now using these points to occupy that habitat. The critter points on the soldier card you play will accumulate until you have enough points to capture that habitat. You'll know the points you need to capture it down here at the bottom right hand corner. Once you have enough cards that equal or beat that habitat point number, you get to capture the habitat, and you're a step closer to winning the game. Lastly, we're going to talk about the battle ability. Here, you can choose to battle another player, who will also use critter points to battle you back. In this example, our opponent has a 4 and a 3 attached to a habitat card which has 8 points to win. Knowing that he has 7 points, this player is going to play a card next hand and win this habitat. We'd like to try to stop him. So at this point, I'm going to tell my opponent, let's go ahead and battle. I'm going to choose Rocket to battle against. And I'm going to battle against Rocket with my Mitten the Kitten. Mittens has a 4 and Rocket has a 4, which puts us on a pretty even battlefield currently. But then we get to play reinforcements. The attacker always goes first with the reinforcements draw. I will look at my hand, and from all of my cards, I will choose as many cards as I want to play as reinforcements on Mittens. I can use them all, or I can use one. Does not matter. For this battle, I'm going to choose 3 cards and place them face down as reinforcements on Mittens the Kitten. As soon as I move my finger away, these cards are locked in and I can no longer change them. Our opponent, seeing that we use 3 cards to battle against him, he checks the number of his cards. He decides to use 4 cards against me. He places his 4 cards down and says that he's ready to battle. As soon as he moves his finger away, we're done. Simultaneously turning over our cards, we'll see what we have in total. As you can see, he played a total of 12 points. Using my 3 cards, I played a total of 12 points, leaving us in a draw. In the case of a tie like this, the attacker always wins. Let's quickly discuss the battle abilities. Let's look at this scenario again as an example. But instead of us having a tie, I would have lost, knowing that I had 11 and he had 12. But since I played a card with a battle ability, Homer the Puppy, and his battle ability, Nip at the Ankles, allows me to exchange any reinforcement card on the table with a reinforcement card from the top of the deck, I can do that. I can actually say, I'm going to take this card, this 3, remove it, and switch it with this card, which lowers his total to 10, leaving my 11 to win. Or I could have done the exact same thing on mine. All battle abilities are different, and each deck has its unique battle abilities, so make sure that you look for them when you're playing. On to step 3, resolving habitat cards. On my turn, I see that I'm just about to capture this habitat card. I play my soldier ability and occupy with one last card onto the habitat card. This allows me to resolve this habitat. Since I met or beat the point total on the card, I get to capture it. Capturing the card allows me to bring it to in front of me and gives me 6 trees that I can use to try to win the game. Once the habitat card is gone, all cards that were on the habitat will be discarded and a new habitat card will be put down in its place. The last and final step in your turn is to make sure that you do not have more than 8 cards in your hand. There is a hand limit of 8 cards in the game of Critter Combat, so count your cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and discard down to 8 cards. Play will continue to the right, clockwise, and the next player will go. And that's how you play Critter Combat. The first player to reach 12 tree points, or beat 12 tree points, wins the game. Critter Combat is super easy to learn, super easy to teach, and super easy to play. And we hope you have as much fun playing it as we had designing it. Hopefully we can see Critter Combat on tables all across the world. Please pledge and make sure that Critter Combat comes home with you. Thank you very much.